Hi, I'm Frank, and today I wanted to talk about something that I use a lot, and those are X-ACTO knives. I use X-ACTO knives for just about anything, carving, crafting, whatever it is, even just generally messing around. But today I want to talk about some of the purposes and uses for X-ACTO knives and the different types of X-ACTO knives. So first off, we're going to start with the most common knife you will see. This is a number 1 X-ACTO knife with a number 11 blade. Now, you can get in here and change the blades out, but this is what this knife is most likely to come with. A number 11 blade. Now, this is the smallest, most versatile X-ACTO knife you can buy. They come in kind of different variations, but these aren't the only X-ACTO knives. They're the most common, but not the only, as you should probably know. Maybe not. I don't know. Next up, the next biggest knife you would see is the number 2 knife. Now, this number 1 knife, from end to end, is about the length of my hand. However, this number 2 knife is the same length. But what makes this knife truly different is this is a heavy-duty version of this knife. Why do I say that? Because it's double the thickness. It's double the thickness of this knife. So you can use the number 2 knife for much heavier, yet still highly precision purposes. And the next biggest knife you will see, I don't know what happened to 3. This is a number 5 X-ACTO knife. Once again, you can change the blades out in it. But this one is a little shorter than the rest, but it's made for, this big red handle is made for grabbing and choking up on what you're carving. It's really made for getting under or through hard plastic or wood. So, if you buy this kit, this is a soft kit, you can also get one that's hard and wood, you will also receive a variation of blades. So starting off, we'll use blades for the number 1 knife. Figure we should go in order, why not? Stay. So, starting off, for the number 1 knife, we have a flat edge razor blade. Now, I don't know the purpose of this one, but I'd imagine it's for whatever you use a straight edge razor for. Shaving, maybe? Beats me. I honestly don't know, so not going to be the most helpful video, but want to make something. Next thing we have is a chisel tip for the number 1. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's just for chiseling away at wood or plastic. Don't, just because it is a slightly duller blade, but just because it is slightly duller, don't get your fingers in front of it, trust me. Just don't ask why, but just trust me. And on the opposite end of that straight edge razor, we have a very similar looking blade, only except for the razor being, why won't my camera focus? Instead of the razor being along here, it's along here. And it's a curved razor. Also don't know what this is for, so sorry. Yeah, that's about all the blades they give you in the number 1 kit. They also give you a scoring blade, which I lost, but the most common blade you see, like I said in the beginning of the video, are these number 11 blades. Great blade. It's very versatile and sharp, oftentimes the sharpest and the most versatile. You can cut just about anything with them, plastic, wood, whatever you have. But next, you move in to these bigger knives. The number 2 and the number 5 knife. They're both the same chuck size. The only difference is they're for different applications, of course. So, when you get into these large knives, here is the variety. Gotta change my light, sorry. Here is your variety of blades that you have. Yeah, there's no good lighting in my room. But this, we'll start on this side. This is a number 24 blade. What it is just a pretty steep edge razor blade that you can use for general application. Just generally anything you can think of. It's a pretty good blade for the number 2 knife. You can use it to get into flat spaces or just carve away a little bit. It's similar to the number 11 blade that I mentioned a little bit earlier. But next we have the most similar to the number 11 blade, and that is the number 2 blade. And if you'll notice, do I have any laying around? No. It is a gigantic version of the number 11 blade from the number 1 knife, only it's for the number 2 knife. This is, once again, the most versatile blade for the number 2 and number 5 knife. Next thing we have is this huge, can't even get in the knife, sorry, this huge chisel blade. And basically, it's the same thing as a smaller chisel, except for it's for bigger and heavier applications. So you would use that little chisel for, say, balsa wood. You would use this one for maybe basswood, a heavier wood and material. Next thing, this blade should also look familiar. It is a big version of that rounded edge razor blade we had earlier for the number 1 knife. And just like for the number 1 knife, I have no clue what this is for, but I use it from time to time. Decent blade, but I just don't know what it's for. And lastly, the blade that I actually do know what's for. This is a number 19 deburring blade. Why is it called a deburring blade? Well, that should be obvious, because it's for deburring. Let me just... So, say you're working on something like a plastic model, like this Axial SCX-10-2 that I'm building. And when you break it out of its little plastic tray, you're going to have a burr on it. So what is this? And this blade is for just that. Since it's a thick, heavy blade and a thick, heavy knife, it's good for thick, heavy burrs. And I tried this once before. I tried to do it on camera. The way my camera is set up, I couldn't do it any good way without shaking the table. So be wary if the table shakes, just letting you know. So let that focus. Ah! Okay. That wasn't supposed to happen. None of this was supposed to happen. Okay. But anyways, as you'll notice, as the camera shook, the burr is now perfectly gone. So those are just some of the applications that you can use X-ACTO knives for. I just want to say, before I end this video, if you use X-ACTO knives, be careful with them. I mean, they may seem easy to control and slightly harmless if you're using them right, but even if you're using them right, they will mess up your hands big time. I even have scars to prove it. If the camera will ever focus. There we go. But I have scars on my hands to prove that these things will mess your hands up big time. So if you're ever using them, just be careful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.